Remember that time I said there was a loaded field for fall baseball this upcoming year? I remember.
The Hunter.sheppard podcast. Bringing you the lowdown on everything OK Preps since 2017. And now here's the man of the hour.
What is going on, my fellow viewers? I have got to work on the intro. But regardless, today we will be taking a look at some contenders for this year's fall baseball season. Of course, you know there's only 2 classes for fall baseball. But now, we'll start with Class B, and right now, I'm thinking Roth is going to be the favorite again. I know you're going to say, oh, they lost a lot of seniors. First off, they still have Talon Bagwell, and they still have the Baldridge kid. Can't remember his first name. They got quite a few pieces coming back, though. If I remember right, I know Baldridge's father, who is the assistant, he is promoted to head coach, and then as assistant, they bring in Matt Benedict from Vanoss. So, regardless, I still think that Roth will be the overwhelming favorite. Tupelo, I think, is going to be another team that's going to be well equipped to make runs this fall and spring. New Lima, I think, could possibly make an appearance in both, but I'm not really sure what they have coming back. I'm sure one of my listeners in that area has probably seen them. Moss could be another team that gets interesting, because last year they looked good at the right time, so Moss could be a team that could definitely make some things interesting. Asher and Red Oak won't fall off too much. I know Red Oak lost quite a bit of seniors, but if I remember right, the new guy they brought in from Coweta, Cody Pear, I believe he's got 2 sons that are really good. So that's why I say Red Oak is pretty much in the same conversation as Roth. They'll pretty much reload. And then as far as Asher goes, I believe they got a really good junior high group coming up. And while they'll make it to state, that's all I really know for sure. But I do know they're gaining some good junior high players. So that will be something to watch. Now, as far as like Whitesboro, Lukiba, and Batiste, I have no idea what those teams are going to look like. Because I know Whitesboro lost quite a bit of seniors, and when I watched them play, they didn't have much depth. I don't know if they got a new coach yet either or not. I think they did, but I'm not too sure. And I hadn't heard from any of my LaFleur County guys on it. Lukiba might be the interesting one to see, because Lukiba was in kind of a weird spot in the spring last year. Like, in the fall, they made it to state, but they still had their lefty. What's weird, I don't even think they had Lovell either. In fact, look, I still don't understand how the whole Lovell situation, I don't understand why his dad wouldn't let him pitch. A lot of my Caddo County guys didn't understand it either. Those that don't know, Lovell was the lefty at Lukiba that was an Arkansas commit. But, yeah, Lukiba might be the interesting one to watch, because as far as what they might look like, I have not heard much on them, so that's going to be something to watch. Of course, like I said, Batiste, that's another team I hadn't seen anything on. I know they got hot at the right time last year, but like I said, I just have not seen much on them. But yeah, Class B, I think is going to be pretty down outside of maybe the first 5. But now here's a good point someone brought up on the boards, although I'm not sure if I believe it or not, but everyone has their own opinions. Someone on the boards went on to say everyone has a 1 that's reliable, can beat most teams, knowing how and when to use him can get you to state, but if you schedule a 20-win season with a very subpar teams, your defense and lineup get exposed early and often against a quarterfinal opponent. Okay, yeah, honestly, he's got a point, because there was a team in Class A few years ago that made it to state, didn't play the strongest of schedules, and they got completely exposed in the first round. So, that's kind of a true statement. Now, as far as teams from last year that probably fall off, I think Varnum right now is looking like a team that's probably going to fall off hard, because from what I am hearing, they lost. I seen my state tournament program. They lost about. Actually, they lost at least 10 seniors. Only 3 underclassmen was on the roster, so that's why I say they're probably going to be a team that takes a step back. I had someone ask about McCurtain. I think their window is going to be slammed shut, unfortunately, because 1, I don't know who they hired as their head coach, and 2, they lost a lot. Like I said, I don't even know if they hired a coach yet, but I know their previous coach and Dylan Monday left and took the Stonewall job, so that's why I say McCurtain and Varnum are probably going to be 2 teams that take a step back, but Varnum, I do think, will get it together in due time. I think they've got the coaching staff to pull it off. Now, there was some talk of Red Oak going up to A in the fall, but I don't know about that. Although I could see it, but at the same time, I've seen a couple years when a team would go from be Class B in the fall, but they'd be A in the spring. That part didn't really make a lot of sense, but I have seen it happen. LaFleur's kind of another team people are asking about, but don't really know what they're going to have. But I think, I know you're going to have your usual contenders and Roth and Red Oak for sure. And then you got Asher, Tupelo. I actually kind of want to know what New Lima brings back, because I still think they'll be a contender. They got a good coaching staff. That's why I say it'll be interesting to see what they have. And then, like I said, Moss, they're another team that I think could possibly make it back into state this year. Oh, sorry if I went quiet. I'm just kind of browsing through my notes, make sure I have everything. But, like, as far as Class B, I would say it seems like Roth and Red Oak have carried the mantle since '04. Although I wasn't the one that said that. It was someone else, but I don't remember who said it. But now, there were years Roth was Class A as well. Oh, I'm just having to scroll down because of the part of the boards I'm trying to go through. I know there was an argument about running up the score, but I guess that was it. But, yeah, I think Class B, it's going to be hard to predict after the last 5 teams. Could possibly see some oddball matchups in, like, regionals or state, but we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Now, I usually try to go watch a fall baseball matchup, but kind of hard to do at times because I'm usually working on a lot of my football observations, covering a lot of softball games. I stay pretty busy. I legit stay busy. So let's get to Class A. Now, Class A is going to be a battleground, to say the least. I think we can establish that right out of the gate. Now, because I know for starters, You'll have Silo and Oaktahaw, along with Fort Cobb Broxton, Worcester, Rattan, Sterling, Silo, Latta, Dale. Yeah, it's going to be a battleground. Now, Fort Cobb could possibly be B in baseball, but we'll have to see on that. There's a chance they could be, but we're going to have to keep an eye on that closely. We'll just have to see how everything falls into place. Well, and then Tushka's another team that'll be bringing everything back. Now, as far as title favorites, I think it's anyone's for the taking right now because it is that wide open. I know Silo, they return a bunch. They do bring back the OU commit and Kyler Proctor. He's a good one to watch. I seen him pitch at the 2A spring baseball state tournament last year. Kid's got a really good arm. Now, one guy on here thinks they need to find another shutdown arm to go with him, but guys, I'm telling you, they'll reload. And you cannot underestimate the coaching staff of Billy Jack Bowen. And somebody once said this on the springboards, you either bet on Billy Jack or you bet against him. No joke, that's what someone said on the boards. Hey, one of the best baseball coaches to do it. One of the 3 legends as well. I can't remember the other 2 legends' names. The other 2 was at Dale and Latta. Speaking of Dale, the bulk of their roster was sophomores. They did lose their ace in Ike Shirey, and then they lost the Hunt kid. don't remember his name because I don't have my state tournament program near me anywhere, but regardless, I think Dale's going to be in same boat as Silo. Reload and in full contention. I don't remember who all was in their bullpen, but I know Dallin Forsythe was one of their pitchers, and he's pretty good. The game I seen him pitch, I believe it was against Christian Heritage in the semifinals in the last spring. He can throw, and he'll just be a sophomore this year. So like I said, the bulk of Dale's roster is sophomores, but they will definitely be a title contender. That's for sure. Canute will be an interesting one to see. They only lost 2, but they were their best arms. So it's going to be interesting to see how Canute replaces their 2 best arms. I believe Henderson was one of them, if I remember right. Again, Fort Cobb loses 5 starters, but they will probably be in Class B, but Dale Bellamy is a coach you can't underestimate either. Just similar to Billy Jack at Silo, and then Jeff Coat over at Dale. Those 3 are definitely ones you can't underestimate. But Fort Cobb, how to do the cutoff line for fall baseball is kind of weird, but I think Fort Cobb's probably going to be right on the borderline between A and B. I mean, look at Earlsboro. Last year they was Class A in the fall, but they was Class B in the spring. Let that thought sink in for a minute. You get my point. Of course, Oklahoma loses a bunch. They return a bunch, and I'm pretty sure they bring their lefty ace in Jacob Blackwell back. So, and I seen him pitch last year. He can throw a very fast left-handed curveball. Stonewall might be a team I'd say to watch closely because they're supposedly they have a younger group that's going to be really good. And I really like their new hire. I mean, like I said, Dylan Monday used to be at McCurtain. I've seen the man coach. He's a heck of a coach. I kind of possibly predicted the move to Stonewall because he is a Stonewall alumni, and he's done great in his 3 years at McCurtain. I know he got him to state in the fall one year. Yeah, because if I remember right, that regional they had was stacked. It was like McCurtain, Varnum, Whitesboro, and then someone else. Sterling, I gotta tell you right now, I think they are definitely going to be in contention for a title one way or another because I know for a fact they bring Nate Anderson back. He was just a sophomore. That kid is legit. He can throw. So I think Sterling will be an interesting one to see. And then Worcester, they're in the same boat as Sterling, but they lose their best arms. Which I know Holzhammer was one of them. But I know they bring Landon Thornburg back. I think he was just a sophomore, I believe. And then Latta, they're another team that's really young, but I think they can make it back into the mix. And I like what Dylan Atkinson has done out there. Brought in as an interim coach last season, and I think he can guide them to state, because I've really liked what he's done out there. And of course, as I said about Tushka, they bring back everything. Always a contender. And like all the other guys I mentioned earlier, Dax Simon is one that can't be underestimated either. I know, if I remember right, I believe Dax has won a title at Tushka. Oh, wait, yeah, he did. 'Cause I remember 2017, I went down to Tushka to cover a baseball regional. 'Cause I remember, I remember right, that regional, it was Tushka, Porum, Arcoma, Rattan. And Tushka run ruled everyone to get to state. Because it was Tushka and Binger in the finals that year. For the longest time, I did not know he was the brother of Ede Simon, former Roth coach and now superintendent. Yep. Two good coaches right there. But I know as far as players to watch, I know I really hadn't done that category. I actually need to try to do one eventually, but I know three really interesting ones to see for sure will probably be Kyler Proctor for Silo, Dallin Forsyth for Dale, Jackson Wiltz at Fort Cobb. I'm not really good at naming players to watch because baseball summer leagues, I have not covered a baseball summer league in I don't know how long. But yeah, that's why I say I think it's going to be a literal battleground in Class A. Class B, we could possibly see. I wouldn't rule out Roth Red Oak round 3, but anything can happen. But Class B is not what it was this last year. But yeah, Class A though. Class A is going to be anyone's for the taking. That's how wide open it's going to be. But I think that's going to about do it for this episode. I'm going to try to start uploading a lot more. I think next episode we may try to get into some football observations. Still working on my notes. But do not forget to like and subscribe. And I will catch you guys in the next one.